Hello, you guys, and welcome to James C. Starke Radio. Oh, I'm so excited. I have a brother from another mother in the house, another Illinois friend of mine. This is Anthony LaBoogan, LaBoogan, yeah! All right, you guys, this is great. I've been hunting him down for months here, trying to get him on. He's a soloist. He does really cool, different stuff, and you know how I like different. Anthony, welcome to the show. How are you doing, my brother?
I'm good, Jim. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Well, you're here, so I'm in a much better mood than I started with today.
I'm here because I'm here, and I'm in a good mood because I'm here. So,
well, buddy, welcome to the Valley. I know you've been here a long time, like I have. I've been a bouncer back and forth, but it's so good to have another brother from back east. So good to see you, man. Yes.
Good seeing you.
All right. So anyway, there's a whole bunch of us here, by the way. We can start a whole crime wave if we wanted to. We just need a couple Coupe de Villes, maybe a Lincoln Continental or something. I
used to have a Coupe de Ville, 79.
I'm sure you did.
454 V8. That's the car. If you were
I had the old Capri because that's all I could afford back then, but it still looked cool. It's still bigger than the damn street was wide, so we were good.
Chevy Celebrity, that was really big when I was in high school. Everyone had like one from the 70s.
That's great, man. Tell me, how did you get started playing?
My grandfather used to play guitar, at every family function. It's just like Mexican folk songs, kind of ranchero stuff. And I'd pluck around on it a little bit. And then when I graduated high school, my sister got a guitar, and I got a guitar. She got a guitar from my mom for her birthday. I got a guitar from a family friend who found one in a house fire. He had a job where he cleaned up houses after a house fire. The insurance company would hire him. And there was one that wasn't burnt too badly, and they weren't going to claim it, so he gave it to me. And then
it still wasn't warped too bad, or
it eventually the body just caved in. It did warp to the point where it's no good. But I had it for about a year and a half. I refurbished it as best I could.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. This is the weirdest thing I could do. When you got this guitar, just out of curiosity, my father was a fireman, so he used to bring home all kinds of treasures.
Yeah.
Was it kind of like fried? Did it have any burn marks on it? Did it look like?
I had to strip it, sand out some things. The tuning machines got so hot they bent.
Oh.
So it was really difficult to tune it.
Yeah. Oh,
and for a while, it was stuck in a micro-tuning tune. Mode. Where, the strings were all tuned to each other correctly, but they weren't any note known to man. They were like a microtone. They were like
like your own
E flat
unique
flat
instrument.
Yeah, I know. It was like
had X sharp and H flat.
And I only played slide back then, so it was an open tuning microtonal. And a friend of mine who'd been playing guitar for years, since he was 12, he tried to play it once. He goes, "This is like Thor's hammer. Like, you're the only one that can play this damn thing." And so I was like, and then that finally just warped too much. And there was nothing I could do about it. There's only, it was a Harmony, so it wasn't really an expensive guitar. There wasn't much you can. They didn't even have a truss rod or anything like that to fix it.
Gotcha.
So when it finally went, it just went.
I'm trying to picture this thing, coming out of a fire. You trying to restore it. It has a whole different sound. This whole thing. That's so cool. If you had something like that now and brought that on stage or brought that into a studio, it'd be so cool because everybody in the world would be trying to emulate that sound. It would never happen.
No,
how do you do this? Well, you got to throw it into a fire. You got to beat it up a little bit. You got to yank the rods out of it. You got to bend all the
you got to sand the body too thin. So the soundboard was in some places the body was almost paper thin because I sanded it. Burn marks out and everything. Who's
going off right now, who's listening to this, is the guys at Bad Boy Guitar. Right now, their brains are going, "Oh, dude, how do we make one of those?"
The where?
Bad Boy Guitar.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they are. They are.
I checked out their site, and I'm like, "Hey, sign me. I will promote the hell out of you. I want all my shows, man. I want something."
I tell you right now, I'm sure they have the greatest imaginations, and just by you telling them this, I know you're setting somebody up.
And I played it with slide, and I used piece of heavy conduit, not glass slide, so it got some raucous sound, and it was it sounded like it's 1930s, now recording it in the back room of some honky-tonk in Mississippi kind of sound. It was really bad, rough, but it's cool as hell.
Well, it's weird because I was just going to ask you that, does that have anything to do with the sound you've created? Because you do really different stuff. You have a very different sound. Did did any of that come from this? I mean, maybe your style was that was it rooted from this weird instrument you started with?
Sort of. I always kept that tuning, except for now it's open D. It's because I started off playing slide.
Okay.
My musical development was not kind of like, this is what I want to be, and I worked my way up to being like, the next Jimmy Page or Hendrix or Satriani or anything like that. It came in stages. I did want to eventually be like when I was a kid, I idolized like Wes Montgomery, Chet Atkins, and Carlos Santana. I know they're kind of disparate, but but you need to know how to play your instrument to be any of those guys, especially Wes and Chet Atkins. You really need to know your guitar. You can't
absolutely.
I mean, yeah, somebody goes, well, Wes didn't know how to read. I'm like, no, but he knew his instrument. He studied it.
It doesn't matter if you read music or not.
Yeah,
if you pick it up, your ear's going to do one thing, your imagination's going to do something, your dexterity of your hands, everything else, it all has a factor. So,
but you sometimes get the people who are like, I don't need to study my instrument because these guys didn't know how to read. I'm like, no, they studied their instrument. Don't tell me Wes didn't practice his ass off. I know he did. He even said so. I mean, you need to do that. So, but instead of trying to be them right away, I had guitar heroes for each stage of my development. When I first started, I really loved slide. Like a lot of kids, I watched Crossroads and I'm like, got you into...
Yeah, right.
But I wasn't like Steve Vai. It was Ry Cooder, was the slide. It was just like, what is that sound? I don't like that.
Yeah, how are they doing that? Freaked me out the first time I heard it, too.
That's like 8 guitars at once. How's he doing that stuff? So when I first got the guitar, it was acoustic anyway. I did want to be like... My first magazine, when I got the guitar, was Guitar for Practicing Musician, like October 87 issue, I think it was. It had Slash and Izzy Stradlin on the cover, because, that was the summer of Appetite for Destruction. It was huge that summer.
That was a crazy summer for everybody. Wow.
I liked that, but that's not what I was going to get out of this instrument. But I did like the sound of slide, and this was perfect for slide, because it did have that twangy sound to begin with, because it was all fucked up. Sorry.
That's okay. Oh, no, this is all good.
My first guitar hero was Sunhouse and Robert Johnson and those guys, the Delta Blues side players.
Ooh. And
I learned more Sunhouse than Robert Johnson. I liked him more because it was a rawer sound. It was just raucous. I know I used that.
I feel it. I'm getting goosebumps. Now look at that. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about that. I love that stuff.
I started with that, and I played slide for about 3 years and got real good on slide. I know that doesn't sound it sounds like humble bragging, but I mean I got pretty good on slide.
No, that's good. We
better than anybody else in my of my group of guitarists, because we were all 18, 19 years old, and I was the only one specialized in slide and stuff. And then I got to the point where I was going to get with slide for where I lived. I mean, this is like late 80s. Northern Illinois. Slide guitar is not.
I was going to say that's a tough place to be. Yeah, to be putting that out there at that time.
I did take the guitar down to Maxwell Street a couple times to play some slide down there.
Now, really quick, I don't mean to cut you off, but Maxwell Street. Oh, you guys! For those of you, what that is. For those of you who have never been there, it's a place that if you were a kid with the dream of music or anything like that, you snuck down to Maxwell Street
or Larceny. Dream of music or larceny, that Maxwell Street was your place.
Perfect. You said it perfect. You can pretty much get anything on Maxwell Street. But it was great because the weekends and stuff, that place was just one long music venue and food and larceny and everything bad you can imagine, but everything good too. The whole community would come together selling food, cookouts, but every band in the world was out there. The Blues Brothers had that in their movie, but it was great. Johnny Hooker's playing there.
Yeah,
right there at Maxwell was just really neat. It's not like that anymore, but back where we grew up.
No, it's historic now.
Right. But going down there when we were kids, that was a treat for us because we got to see the best of the best down there, and boy, did we get cultured.
It was like the most awesome place in the city, and also could be one of the most dangerous.
Yeah. Well, of course it was. Yeah.
It depends on time of day, and I'm not talking about during the day it's all right. It like 101 in the afternoon it's fine. 105 you could get shot. Well, not shot, but stabbed.
Something, yeah, exactly. They'll steal your ribs,
or mugged,
or
something like that.
But great memories. Hey, before we go to
harmonica down there a lot too.
Oh man, let's talk about that after this because I want to get to a song here really quick if you don't mind.
Oh, no problem.
Tell me about Lords of Creation. That's our first song we're going to play today. How was that? How did that come about? What's it about? Tell everybody how you made it, where it came from.
Making a CD. This is actually an old song of mine from a CD I did, where I based the CD on different creation myths, and I didn't make a song that would say, "Oh, this myth is like the creation myth of like the Aztecs or the Incas," or this was going to be for this. It's just like I would read the myth, and whatever it inspired, that's what I ended up playing.
Oops, sorry.
And then
I'm breaking shit while he's talking.
And then I made another CD recently. I started recording that 2017, and then a bulk of it last year, and then some of it this year. And I was calling it Infinite, and it was like a concept album. Even though, to me, I would have a concept of what I was trying to do. You listen to it, it just sounds like songs. You know, I didn't want to make a concept where people had tried to tune into it to enjoy it.
Right.
It's just, but to me, I had a concept with a thread running through it.
Sure, okay.
And so Lords of Creation became kind of, I renamed it Lords of Creation, and what it was a concept of like, it starts off with just another tune that's just me with a lot of guitars, different guitars, a lot of feedback, a lot of the crazy two-hand nubbin tapping, like Bucketheads call it, atonal stuff. Go. And then a whole lot of me just going off on the guitar and some backwards tracking and some feedback. And my thought was, it's the universe, like the Big Bang. Except for instead of the Big Bang, there's a Big Bang, it just comes in, it's just cacophony of all these guitars and stuff. And then Lords of Creation would be where it's still, the playing is still a little, like, all over the place, but it's got organized, there's a head to it, there's like a melody and stuff like that. It's like it's starting to congeal. And it's like,
well, don't tell us too much. Let's let them sneak up. Let's sneak up.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I know you're excited. No, let's great. Let's save a little bit for them so they can check it out. Okay, guys, this is Anthony Lebugan, and this is Lords of Creation. Very different stuff here. I totally dig it. Check it out, you guys. Oh, yes. Lords of Creation by LeBoog. Anthony LeBoog. Now, you guys know I dig this off-the-wall weird stuff. I like everything, but man, that was really cool, dude. I didn't mean to cut you off while you were talking about it, but I wanted to surprise everybody with some of that, some very interesting things. Now, you guys, it just gets different and more weird and bizarre and awesome, totally awesome on the next tunes. It's really cool. Before we get into that, though, I got a couple more questions for you.
Absolutely.
When you're writing your songs, when you're writing your tunes and stuff, are you like the writer that, are you an inspirational writer, or do you see something, or I mean, do you come up with an idea and then kind of work on it constantly put yourself through like an 8-hour day to force it, or do you come up with the idea inspirationally, like you see something, or a car accident, or a wonderful thing happening with the Good Samaritan doing something, or the stars align a certain way? What inspires you, or do you pound it out every day? What do you do?
It's kind of a combination.
Okay.
Sometimes there is an inspiration. I just get something in my head, and sometimes I get an entire song in my head all at once. Those are the ones I usually don't improv on too much. I usually stick really close to what they came out, because it came out just the way I want it, just right. And then sometimes there's some inspiration for an idea, but I got to work at it. You know, I'm like, I'll play it on the guitar a little bit, go down different avenues to find out, you know, sometimes what I'll do is I'll go down like 5 or 6 different streets and find out which ones work together.
Okay.
And the ones that don't work together, I check them to see if maybe they're a different song. Whereas sometimes I come up with like 2 different songs. And then there are times where and this could sound tedious, especially to somebody who, you know, doesn't, you know, just wants to play by ear or play by feel. I do read music, and sometimes I do sit myself down and try to write something that's playable. You know, I mean, just force myself is an exercise, because when you write it out, you're looking at, you know, the notes, you're looking at the scales that it runs in, and then you look, and then, you know, you can see the chords, but it's concrete framework to work with.
Sure.
Sometimes you need that, because sometimes when you get the guitar and you do it, you start noodling, and you just end up and you have no idea how you got there.
Right.
So sometimes I do like to write it down, but most of the time it comes from just practice, playing it. Then I hear a couple notes together, I'm like, and that'll inspire me. Sometimes I like the sound.
Yeah, you'll hear that sound and it's like, ooh, that feels so good. And yeah, you feel that.
Sometimes I'm just having a good day where I'm just sitting there and I'm like, and it just comes, you just hear it in your head over and over again, so you finally have to play it on guitar. I have actually written songs like that from a dream. Well,
sure.
I played it in a dream, and I wrote it down in the dream, and I remembered how the notes went, and I played it. I was in a band called Eclipse, excuse me. That one was called Eclipse, and we were kind of a jazz, but a little fusion and some blues and some funk mixed in, and I played that, and me and our keyboardist at the time, Brown Baker, who used to live here, and now he lives in San Antonio.
Shout out. How you doing,
Shout
brother?
Out to Brown. But he's got family still here, JB and Dwayne. They were in the band too. And we both worked it out. I worked out most of the song and the melody from that dream, and then he added a bridge that came from another song he wrote, but I guess he didn't do much with the song at all, but he liked the bridge, so we put that in, and we had a really nice tune.
Good deal.
Can't remember how his part went, so I can't re-record it or anything like that.
What do you have? What do you have coming up in the future here? What are some of your goals immediately here? Are we working on some new music, album, shows? I know we have a show coming up. We're going to talk about in just a second.
Yeah, and there's another show I'm trying to get set up that I postponed. It was from earlier this year, but I had some family issues, so I postponed the show. It's going to be at the Soul Center in Mesa. But I got to get hold of them to find out, you know, one good, clear date on their calendar and stuff like that. But
when you find out, let us know so we can let everybody know. That'll be great.
I want to play out more often. I had not played in public for like 10 years until last year. We were just talking about Guy on the Couch production.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
boss.
I played.
How you doing, boss?
I played a show last September. It was the first show in 10 years that I played. And the first one here in this state in like 15 years that I played probably at Club Red.
Yeah.
And then I played another show at Club Red in December. And then, like I said, there was some family problems earlier this year. And I got sick. Got whooping cough like in January. And that like knocked me out for like a month.
Yeah. I hear you.
Which is crazy because I'm like, who gets whooping cough anymore?
Oh, I know.
I didn't know it was bad enough to knock you out for a month.
Oh, okay. You're lucky that's all it did. Oh,
so, but I'd like to play out more often. I've already written stuff for a second CD. I'm about halfway through. I got the material for about half of the second CD so far. I want to
that's gonna be
finish
a fun
that up
one
by
to
the
hear.
end of the year.
When everybody gets through this list, we still have about 3 more for you to play today, and then you're gonna be coming up with some new stuff. I'm really excited because this stuff is really bizarre. Really quick, I don't mean to cut you off. On a side note, guys, Club Red, shouting out to Club Red. I've been getting a lot of mail, guys. I'm only the messenger here, but I would ask you guys something. If I'm getting a lot of mail. It's a lot of fans asking me if I can ask you guys to please figure out a way to get us in the door a little faster because it's taken a long time to get those long lines in there.
Yeah.
And I know you guys got Dwan and security and everything, but maybe we can open those doors about an hour earlier and help us get in there because I know a lot of the shows, especially when you're double booked on both rooms, a lot of people are missing a lot of the shows. So we don't want anything negative to happen with you guys because it's a wonderful venue, and no one's like calling you names or anything. They're just asking me to kind of see if I can help a little bit. So this is all I can do to help. So please open our doors a little bit earlier for us when we get there, and it would really make a lot of people happy. And thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening. And please don't shoot me. I'm just a messenger. Now, getting back to us and your next performance.
Yes.
Is going to be really cool because you're doing something special to help a really cool guy in town, and you're helping us all out here. You're playing the benefit on the 24th at Gypsy's Roadhouse for Rich Ornelas from Two in the Chest. And you're going to do us something really fun for us is you're going to be playing in between sets to keep us entertained while everyone else is setting up. So that kind of puts you in a spot of... you're going to be up there a lot, and you have a little bit of responsibility there, along with me, to keep everybody entertained, because they're not only going to want to listen to me talk for so long.
Yeah, but I got to keep playing all the time.
So you're going to be playing a lot that day, and I know you have a lot of different stuff to offer, so I'm excited about that. I just wanted to thank you so much for being part of that, Anthony.
No problem.
I really appreciate that. Rich does a lot of good things for us, and all the bands that have reached out, I can't thank you guys enough. So join us at Gypsy's Roadhouse on August 24th. God, Jim, get your stuff together here. August 24th is just a week from tomorrow, so we're gonna have a good time. And while we're talking about tomorrow, come to the Timeout Lounge.
I need to practice more.
Yo, there you go. You bet. I do too because I think I'm gonna do a little something at that one too. Tomorrow too, you guys. The Timeout Lounge. I have our day set up. If you guys check this out, if we start at the Rebel Lounge tomorrow, we can check out the Joeys at noon. Those were the kids that were on azradio.live with us last night. Man, they're 15, 16, and 17. And they've got that.
That's what they
that's
sound
it.
Kind of young when they talk.
Yo, they're great. They're going to be at an all ages show at the Rebel Lounge. Now, from there, we can go right over to the Timeout Lounge and check out Un Solo, and that's going to have Brian Mogul and Lars Petrini and a bunch of other people. And that's going to be an early show. There's only 4 bands there, so as soon as that cuts out, let's all go to the Grotto and we'll celebrate Tommy Phelps's life at his memorial with the celebration of his life there at the Grotto. And that'll be wonderful. And if we're not doing anything tonight, meet me at the Grotto so we can send Two in the Chest off on a wonderful last show that they're going to do for about 6 weeks. And we're going to do a little surprise visit there for them. So anyway, just letting you guys know.
So how much of a surprise
Well,
can it be?
I'm that's how I am. I have to drop that. I'm trying to get ready to come up with me there. We got to say hello. So anyway, there's going to be a couple more surprises I'm pulling out there too. So I'm not giving it all away. Anyways. Let's get to our next song. I didn't mean to cut you out there, but I had to fill everybody in because you're part of all this with us now.
Yes.
Yes, it's wonderful to have you on board with our family here. Now, our next one, Rings of Saturn. How did this one come about? This is a really cool one.
I was just really chill. And I was just...
you bring us into like a whole new world, a whole different place on this song.
I was just, again, it was a concept, but it's not a concept where you need to know what it is. But I had one that was like, all right, I already did one about the universe forming. Then what do you do? I'm like, well, you just float around for a while. So I was just...
There you go.
And it actually I don't think
you got to create the universe. You got to play in it, right?
Yeah, I don't think anybody would get it, but it kind of has like the opening guitar with its kind of echoing and stuff. Kind of reminds me of like a David Bowie, like
which I love.
Spiders from Mars type of era, or Space Oddity era. Yeah, more Space Oddity era.
Yes.
And so I'm like, well, I'm floating in the stars. What I want to do? I'm like, I'm just gonna chill. But what would I really like to see? And I'm like, the Rings of Saturn are awesome. And it was like, when I first came up with it, Cassini had sent back the pictures of the rings just a couple years before. I started working on this song, and I was like, they would just like bowled me over. I mean, I've seen,
just intrigued you to death.
I've seen them on like sci-fi movies where they make them and stuff like that, like on Star Trek and stuff like there's rings around a planet, but these are really Saturn's rings, and this was cool. And I was like, so it was like, I start off really cool, and then you see something that's really turns you on. It's the Rings of Saturn, and that's where the song and that had to hit you
on tenfold because you're such a little universal like Stark kind of child anyway with your universal love to see those pictures
like
the first time.
Movie, so
that must have blown
awesome.
You away to see those pictures the first time. Well, this is what came from it. So let's check it out. This is Rings of Saturn from Anthony LeBougan. Hey, you guys, welcome back. I know we're giggling. You caught us because you didn't hear what we were saying. It was funny. But you know what you're thinking while you're listening to that song, chilling out, enjoying your edibles, whatever it is, just zoning into the mood. That was great, man. Rings of Saturn by LeBoog. I swear I can't help not calling you that now. Anthony LeBoogin. He is LeBoog. I'm trying to talk him into making his album that title, his next one. But he's got some great ideas. I'm just me. Andy, I have a great question for you. Well, for me anyway. I don't care. I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Nice.
What is your favorite all-time album? You just have so many. I mean, I'm looking at you guys. Got to see him now. He is like, his eyes are going everywhere. I can see he's got like 1,000 of them up there. He's trying to bring them down. He's not going to be able to give me one.
It's going to be the one that you're not expecting at all because
try me.
It's not a guitar album at all.
Oh, you're going to blow me away.
Herbie Hancock, Maiden Voyage.
Oh. That's a smoking album.
That's what made me want to be.
That dude is, man, he started a whole nother world with his stuff, man. And he's still around doing great things.
And that was still straight ahead jazz. That was before he started doing, the fusiony stuff. It was a good 10 years before Headhunters. But it's really nice and laid back, but it has got some.
Oh, you got me on that.
It's got some hard playing.
Oh, I got cocky, man. Try me, brother, and you did. Oh, you got me on that one. That is a killer.
When I was in high school, I had my Walkman that weighed like 8 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is 1984.
That's probably why I had to get my hips replaced because of I was walking.
Now I had a lot of cassettes I'd take with me to school and stuff. I was the guy who wore the jacket so I could still listen to the headphones. Not even because you weren't supposed to listen to them.
Right. Had to sneak them in there.
And I had a bunch of cassettes in my bag, but there were 3 that always went with me everywhere I went. That was the Talking Heads, Speaking in Tongues.
Oh, great one.
Santana Abraxas.
Another one.
And Maiden Voyage.
Yeah,
and those 3 in high school, those were you could not borrow those from me because I'll break your arm.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
I will bust you up.
Yes,
that's cool because like you were talking about your influences earlier a bit, and then this stuff here. So you can hear this in all your music, but not stealing it. You can just tell like how can I put this? Maybe like not hearing that news. You can tell that you've got a really wide, very unique range of influences. And so however that comes together in your brain and however you're doing whatever, but whatever has influenced you is really come up with a very unique sound. And the more things you're telling me about from everything from Hendrix on one end to Herbie on this end, the jazz and the blues, and then you got the rock side and a little bit of that country stuff in there. And then you're wearing a G3 shirt right now. So, and I know you like those.
Petrucci on it.
So that's really cool.
Well, when it comes to influences, I got like 3 kinds. I have musical influences that are not guitar related at all. Then I have guitar influences where the people, they don't influence music side of me, but they influence my approach to the instrument. And then I have the ones that are guitarists who have influenced not only the way I play, but they've also influenced the music. So Herbie's like in group number 1, totally not a guitar, but huge musical influence like him, Eric Dolphy, Pharoah Sanders, a lot of avant-garde jazz guys. I mean, Herbie's not too much avant-garde or anything like that, but like, Pharoah Sanders and...
Well, in a way, though, Eric, he was.
Yeah, he kind of started...
He did create somewhat of a genre there being different.
Yeah, and then Coltrane and...
Not to jump on you that, but I'm just saying, I could see, because the way you're looking at me when you're saying that, I can see how you're like... You don't want to put him in that class because you got that respect for him there, but we have to give him that.
He made the off-ramp for it. He and Miles Davis and some of those guys, they made the off-ramp for the avant-garde. And
there you go. That's perfectly
Coltrane
nailed it.
Coltrane and Dolphy and Pharoah Sanders and those guys just
they put a highway right through it. 8 lanes.
They like
blam.
They made it go into another dimension.
Yep.
And then guitarists who influenced me the way I approach the guitar, but not necessarily the way what the music is I play.
Mm-hmm.
That would be like Steve Vai. But I don't play like him, and I don't try to, but I do like some of the techniques he uses.
Oh, I totally understand what you're saying because, like, I love like Caruso. I was rubbing that. Freddie Mercury is my all-time favorite. I can't sing anything like him.
Nobody
but
can.
He's such a huge influence on me, as was Caruso and Pavarotti, and so was Bruce Dickinson and Rob Halford. And then Sarah Brightman was another one. So I mean, we're going from every genre, from opera to metal to everything. But just because we don't emulate them, those are influences that made us think about what we wanted to do. So yours blew me away though, because I thought I had a big range of influences, but you really have. You really have loved just everything. I mean,
I tried. Well, there's some people I just no.
We all have that, but I mean, some of us only like this kind of music or just this and this. But musicians like you and I, we have a huge range of what we respect, and we also, I think, if I can say this right without disrespecting anybody, I like anything that's good. And to me, though, that's just my opinion, what I think is good. If it's making me feel good, making me dance, giving me a memory, doing this and that, I don't like the things. The negativity in certain genres. I'll just leave it right there.
Like one of my musical influences, not for guitar wise, even though they play guitar, and then my guitar playing has nothing to do with this Public Image Limited.
Oh yeah.
PIL, yeah. Yes. It's just like they're awesome.
I mean, look where those guys come from too.
Yeah, I know.
Come on.
But I didn't really like the Sex Pistols at all.
See, I dug them.
But I like Rotten Stuff on his own. With
yeah. I didn't like their attitudes, but back then, though, when we were kids, it was funny to see someone do that. But I think he was just obnoxious when he was doing stuff like that.
Well, he wasn't as bad as Sid Vicious was.
Well, right. I mean,
for one thing,
Sid didn't even know where he was half the time. I mean, come on, let's think about it.
Ron has musical
but
talent.
Ron had a lot of stuff in there.
I know. I just lost some people are like, like Sid Vicious. I'm like, dude, kill this guy.
No. Because well, there's the thing. Sid, in my opinion, I think is just. I don't think Sid even know where he was half the time. You know what I mean? And he was just up there. Johnny gave him a great opportunity. Sid just was a kid in a candy store and didn't know how to handle it. He didn't have any guidance. Johnny tried. Yeah. Johnny's still here. He's done a lot of great things, and he's. I just like the fact that he stuck it to the man way back in the day, but he just did it. So he was a child trying to do his thing.
I think looking at Johnny as being your guiding hand, that's problem number one.
Well, there you go. There you go. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, why would you do that to yourself?
But if you think that's all he had, hey, it could have been worse. It could have been worse, But Johnny's still doing great things. But who knows? He's his own thing. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not worshiping him at all. But I'm just saying I have to give it to him for being the guy to not worry about what everybody thinks about you and just doing your own thing.
He is pretty cool. I did write to him back in the 90s. He had a label.
Yeah.
And I actually sent him a demo, like a 3-song demo. And he actually wrote back. He's like, sorry, but what do you want me to do with this?
Yeah, right? His whole attitude. Yeah, what do you want me to do?
It was like the embryonic version of what you're hearing today. Because it's like, 25 years ago. Something like that. Or more than 25 years ago now I think about it. But, I mean, it was kind of like metal world music with some, weird scale I learned off
and when we were young, man, I sent my music to everybody, and I got some things like, what do you exactly think? Like, what am I supposed to? Even if I got a response, you know what I mean?
I must have sent out 20 or 30 demos one summer, like in the span of like 3 weeks. Me and my little Tascam 4 track.
Yeah, the gray one with like the orange outline knobs.
And they kept breaking down. They kept having to fix it, but every time I fixed it, the speed would be a little off. So I'd have, and they did have a little variac kind of thing for the speed, and I had to play around to try to find it. And then they had 2 tape decks from Radio Shack.
There you go.
So when
and that was realistic, I think was their
realistic. I mix everything
that
down
lasted for 10 minutes, and that was
from those 4 tracks onto one thing, and then I would have 4 tracks there, and then I'd start with a whole new 4 tracks and ping it till I got like about 12 tracks.
And it would take creative.
Like a week to do one song doing that. And I was like,
I'm having memories and flashbacks. I can picture you doing that because I did the same thing. We had to get so creative to make that work. You're in the closet trying to get this sound. You got pillows over anything to get that hiss to go
And my
away.
amp would start picking up things from like
Guam.
Well,
radio stations.
They built out air traffic control station out by my house, and I was picking up stuff, and I'm like, oh crap! And I had this old amp that I inherited from a friend of mine.
Start a pilot.
Yeah, and I'd have to put that in the bathroom.
You got better. I bet you got a greater reverb in the bathroom.
I had to be careful because I put it in the shower stall in my bathroom. I had my own bathroom at this point in time, so that's good because then I didn't have to worry about like my sisters getting all mad and everything. But I'd be in the bathroom recording.
What are you doing in there?
I would have to sit out in my room because the bathroom was off my room. There wasn't enough room for me and my amp in the bathroom. So I'd sit out in my room and I'd play, and I'd hear, and I couldn't hit earphones because it wouldn't stretch all the way, so the whole house would hear it. And I was like,
"Oh, wow, this is great." Are you guys getting this visual?
I got great sound from recording the bathroom.
Now check it out. He's got the toilet seats down. He's sitting on there. He's got like 1 foot over by the sink.
I'm sitting in my room. I can't even sit in the toilet.
Oh, you can't even get in there. So you got the amp in the bathroom, and you're in the
amp's in there.
Oh, this is
great.
The
mic stand's in there. The 4-track's in there. I'm sitting on my bed, and I had a water bed, so I'm trying to like.
Oh, so now you're gliding on top.
Yeah,
oh, dude, this is even better. Oh man.
It was
this is a video. I see a video here.
It was a pain in the ass to record back then. People are like, kids there complain. I'm like, it's so much effort to record. And I'm like, you have no idea.
Oh, are you serious? These kids. I just plug it into your computer now and hit. Oh, these kids have no idea.
I started off with a real.
Back in the day, we had to walk uphill both ways to the recording studio in the snow.
I started off with a reel-to-reel 2-track, and I'd have to bounce those 2 tracks to a realistic tape deck and then feed that back in. So it took until my dog chewed the power cord off of it. And this thing was from 1962, so guess what? I can't replace anything that the dog ruined on it. So it's like, oh crap.
Oh man, I'm telling you, kids, you don't know how lucky you are. When your parents tell you, you have no idea, that's not the only thing you have no idea with. Yes, this recording is such a different world
Try to
now.
record when you're fighting feedback for 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's insane.
Because you can't stand anywhere in the room with feedback. One time I had to get an extra long cord because I had to stand out in the family room to record.
Again,
so it wouldn't feedback from my pickups because I had
the amp's in the neighbor's bathroom at this point. He's in the other neighbor's bathroom. Everything's running out through a motorhome in the street.
I know, it's crazy. Well, I borrowed a friend's guitar. He had a Hondo 2 Les Paul copy with some P90s. And those were very hot pickups, and you just looked at them and they fed back.
Yeah.
And
gosh, I remember the guitar players when we were kids. Like the first guitar player I was playing had a Hondo. And most of our songs were just whatever note the feedback came into was what the bass player played with.
Any guitar I've ever played.
But they just were crazy. Let's get to another song here.
Sorry about that. Sorry.
No, this is great. I love rambling. The problem is, you guys, you have 2 boys from back east in the same room, and when we get together, we just don't shut up. It's like those little old ladies coffee clutching on Sunday morning.
Yeah, everyone's like.
This is Mr. and Mr. Kravitz instead of Mrs. Kravitz and her friend. Oh. All right, I'm going to see if I can say this correctly. And yeah, see already. I'm killing us here.
Lenny, yeah. But
Internacion. Internacion. What does this song mean? What does that title mean? Is it made up, or is that a real word?
It means like confrontation.
Confrontation, Internacion. That's a new one for me. I'm like a thesaurus junkie. I've never heard that one.
I'm watching Channel 8. That's PBS out here in Phoenix. WTTW, Channel 11 Chicago.
Yep, boom.
And they had a documentary about... Well, not really war. It was more about like the space race or something like that, and they were showing missiles because that's essentially what the space race is all about. It's like who would make the best missiles.
Okay.
But then we'll put people on top of it for PR reasons,
Sure. And why do they shape them that way? That's a whole other story.
Yeah. So anyway, they're launching these missiles, and I'm watching like A-bomb tests and stuff, and I'm like, it's a confrontation. It's a soundtrack for war. That's basically it. It's
we'll soundtrack to CNN for next season because something's going to happen next year because as soon as we're done with this one.
Well, it's not soundtrack for like leading up to the war or anything. No, it's a soundtrack of like
during.
Shit's about to hit the fan, and then it hits the fan from 0 to 60 in like 0.6 seconds, and then it just goes.
It's stupid after that. Yeah.
Actually, it's me just going off on the guitar, like
let's just check it out. All right, you guys, here we go. And you say it.
Internacion.
From the Boog, Anthony LeBoogan. Check it out, you guys. Awesome, you guys. Welcome back to James C. Starke Radio with our guest, Anthony LeBoogan, and that was Internecion. Did I say that right?
That's close enough. Internecion.
Internecion. Okay, you guys with all your crazy titles, and I working through it. Okay, I asked you a really cool question while we were listening to that song about how you really build up the background, and then it's like usually like one takers on these things, and then trying to recreate it live, and then I was jumping in kind of saying how fun it is to give. If you want to hear it on the album the right way, listen to the album. But live is a whole different experience with you sometimes, because you got the basics down there, but sometimes you go on a tangent and just like you go into another world and just let it flow. And that is awesome. How does that feel when you get up there? Do you like go into that zone? I mean, I know you start with the riff and you can play it in your sleep, but I know you like to just, is it something you're feeling with the audience? Is it something you're feeling alone, something you're feeling together? Is it just a moment that takes you into a different world sometimes? You'll kind of take off and change it and bring it up. And
I got a weird answer for that. I always felt like the stage, no matter how packed the club is, and it's not always packed.
Oh, well, we know.
Sometimes you're playing like this.
You're playing in front of 2 people or 2,000, act like you're playing in front of 100,000.
A freaking barn, and there's 3 people, and one of them works here.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's really packed, but I always felt that if you wanted to be alone in a packed club or bar, be on stage. Because I do feel like the stage, no matter if I can hear people or see people, it doesn't matter, because the stage is like, this is my area.
Yeah.
You could say whatever you want out there, but I'm here. And it's not just like, so I'm here, you need to listen to me. I'm like, I'm here, this is my area, so nothing's bothering me. So
are you in kind of like if I understand this right, so we can put this perspective.
Yeah,
you get up there,
right.
It doesn't matter. There's 2 people or 1 million people. You're there alone.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It's my space.
You're there alone. You're giving them that show and stuff, but your mindset is like you're in your own little world. It doesn't matter who's watching, who's listening, nothing. You're in your own zone, and you're in that little bubble up there, and you're just in your own little world,
and I'm
letting all this soul out of you, and letting all that heart and your whole insides, and just boom. Am I hearing that right?
Yeah, it's like P.T. Barnum pulling back the curtain, like, check this out.
There you go.
That's how I feel when I'm on stage. So,
you're like, check it out, but you're still kind of, you're in your own bubble, though.
Yeah,
it's like,
that's what I mean.
Like, they really don't, like, the crowd's there, but that's not, you're bringing them into your world instead of forcing your world into them. Maybe I'm saying that. You're
kind of like that.
Yeah, I'm not, it's like, here I am, I'm in my zone, and there you go.
Although, if anybody ever heard me when me and the sound man disagree, you would think I'm forcing it on you because I'm like way loud.
Well,
and sometimes you get a sound man who's like sets the levels and then goes to the bar, and then you start playing, and it's like,
right, and
sorry,
it's okay because we hear a lot about sound men, and let me just put something in perspective. There are some wonderful sound men out here.
Yes,
I'll tell you, one of the best. Right, I'm gonna give him a shout out is Trevor Bellway. I've got to give him huge chunks. And there's my buddy that I keep running into at the Grotto and at Club Red. And, dude, I'm so sorry. Oh, man. I want to say his name's Darren, but I could be totally wrong. But when I see him again, I'm going to definitely get his name down because he pulls off some crap live that nobody does. And there's a lot of soundmen out there that are trying and still learning. I got to give them credit. But you guys have to understand, when you're behind that board, you're up there with the band. I mean, your sound is making or breaking them. And these guys definitely respect you and everything else. And if you guys can work together, everything works. But don't get pissed off at the sound man. That guy has got to change from one sound to another sound to another sound. You got 10 bands in there. You've got 10 bands that want a different sound. And no offense, but you guitar players all want that special thing. And you deserve that. And you have to have it. But treat your sound man respectfully and ask him what you'd like. And you guys can work as a team, and trust me, it gets along a lot better that way. We're all trying to help each other, so let's work together instead of getting jacked. So next time you get jacked, the sound man, Anthony, put it in check, dude. I'm only kidding, because you're actually a gentleman with him. But I know what it's like when you watch a new guy walks in and he doesn't know what he's doing. I could throw it together for you, and he has no idea what he walked into because he's really not a sound man. He's just trying to do a favor. And you're right. You find him at the bar later, and then you're up there blasting away, and people are looking at you like, "What the hell are you doing?" And you're trying to signal your sound man, but there's no sound man there. So the guys that I've been working with lately, I got to tell you, 100%. I just don't know everybody's names perfect. But when I do, I'm blasting them everywhere because they are the bomb of this scene.
All right. I don't want to be ungracious, but that one guy, I actually had to stop playing and like, hey, you.
Yeah.
In the mic, I'm like,
yeah.
Quit talking to the girl at the bar.
Yeah. Oh, dude, believe me, I've been there. I've been there a million times. Trust me. I finally found a sound man back in the 80s, and we went through like 30 of them or whatever. Whatever pay I made at that show, I made sure I split with him or I gave to him just to make sure he was with us. In fact, he was even a roommate with me for a while. I kept him right under my wings because he was the bomb back then. I'm going to drop his name right now. Tim Trent. He was the bomb back in the 80s. If you're out there listening, dude, get a hold of me. We could use you again. Tim was so innovative. I remember one time he took a boom box and turned it into a 4-track recorder in like an hour because we had to record something, and he pulled it off. He was yanking microphone parts and everything out of the jammer and everything, but he did that. I was so impressed.
I'm telling you, all of us who came up in the 80s were MacGyver.
Yeah, dude, yes, and he was. But now we got some guys here that are now phenomenal, man. And some there's to learn. I just don't have everybody's names right. But once I get them, I'm gonna blow them up big time because you guys, we all need them, and they can help the new kids, and we can have just a swarm of amazing sound men coming up in this. I'm sorry I keep jumping off track here. I was so excited because we're both on this level here. Let me ask you another question now. You've had some lessons. You know how to read music.
Yes.
And you have this incredible imagination.
Thank you.
How old were you when you had your very first lesson, and what instrument was it on?
It was cool. Well, the first one they tried to give me was piano, and that didn't last long.
That's what they all try. We all
my grandmother played piano, so she bought me this book, and the piano lessons didn't stick, but I learned the notes on piano off of that, just the white keys. I didn't understand what a flat or a sharp was. That seemed like way complicated.
Now, you kids, here we go. Hold on. Wait, we have a thing we do on the show. Anytime we talk about a little theory, we have to educate everybody. So check it out. Okay. A flat and a sharp, kids, is when if you're on a piano, you have white keys and black keys. It's the easiest way I can make it, because sometimes the whites can be sharps and flats too. Okay, so you're looking at your piano. Right, exactly. So let's not get
that just confuses them more.
This is 101. That's 202. So okay, 101 is we have all the white keys, and those are our naturals. If we play, say we're on a G, and we play the black key to the right of that, that is a sharp. If we take our G and we play the key to the left of that, the black one, that's a flat. So anytime we go from one key directly to the next one, if we go left, it's flat. If we go right, it's sharp. Doesn't matter what color the key is, as long as it's the next key there. Now, I did something stupid there, because you're supposed to explain that, because that's what I usually dump on everybody, but I did this time. Well, I wanted you to explain it, actually. I just set it up, but then I did it. So that's a first for me. See, I'm out of here, too. Anyway, next one is on you. So go ahead. What's your of all your
you asked the first instrument?
Yes, that's what I was getting back to. Right, clarinet.
Which is kind of a dumb choice for a kid with asthma, but
that's right.
But Mom wanted me to play a band instrument, not guitar, right away, because to be in the band, and I was in orchestra, concert band, not orchestra, all throughout high school. So there was not real great on the clarinet, but I paid attention. So you learn. Well, just from being there.
Yeah, and that's a whole different area of the orchestra too. So learning an instrument like that, and being a guitar player, and knowing the range of that instrument, what it can do, and then what this one can do, that helps a lot when you're putting together your background.
Yeah.
And all that music, because you've got different things to jump on and different sounds to create. So that's really cool, because you're doing a lot of neat stuff here.
It's a lot easier to transpose on a guitar than it is a clarinet. You just slide your hand up.
There you go.
To the next
exactly.
key.
And trying to get the reed going and everything. And having asthma has got to be a real pain.
I know.
That may have helped a little bit too, though, because the breathing and stuff through that kind of. I know as a kid, wearing a mouthpiece and stuff helped me through some of that. Blowing the things helped a little bit, but some of it was hard.
It might have helped the breathing, but it didn't help the clarinet. I was always in the last chair, and it's not because I didn't understand music. When I first started learning, I had a pretty good ear. That's what my band teacher really liked when I was in 5th grade. He was like, he can play by ear if he wants to.
Yeah.
And I got a little lazy doing that. Well, concert band's not a place where you should play by ear. You need to know how to sight read.
A little bit.
So I was like, it's
hard to fake it there.
Yeah, and so it's just I didn't want to do that, because it's like I had a girlfriend, and who wants to learn Tchaikovsky when you got a girlfriend?
Who wants to hear Motley Crue?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Actually,
or whatever it is. I understand.
No, she liked Debbie Gibson. This is
it's even worse. Oh no.
All right. I don't know. This might be a sexist term, but
go for it. Let's see what happens.
I miss metal chicks.
Oh,
like from the '80s, you played a guitar and you got all these girls with like the Romeo boots with the fringe and the gaucho belts and everything and the big hair, and they hang out with you.
Bella agrees.
Yeah.
Bella agrees. She's like, hey, I'll be your metal chick.
Oh, no. Sorry, Bella.
They were fun. They were definitely fun. Well, I'll tell you what. Those metal chicks didn't go anywhere. They have just adulted a little bit. Oh, I can't tell them that, because I'll get offended if I said they grew up. They have blossomed into different flowers now, because when we see them at the shows now, they've taken it up a level. The hair may not be big as much as it was, but I'll tell you what, the heart's still there. They're still up there screaming and yelling.
Yeah.
Still making us feel like rock stars. So
they are, but they're not the ones that like pierce my ear at a party with a.
Oh, they will now. They don't use the needles now.
No,
they're into full scale drills and
I mean,
they've upped it. They've upped it.
You know what? Just drink another Jack Daniels. You'll be fine.
Sure.
I was like 18. It was right after graduation. And sterilized it with a Bic lighter, rubbed some ice on me, and it didn't go through. It went like in, and then I thought it would just go through. It made a crunching sound, like somebody walking on gravel.
Oh, yeah.
And that got so infected, my girlfriend found out. She's like, my dad already hates you. I'm like,
there you go. So now I'm just going to really piss him off.
I'm like, you let your hair grow long and everything. What's wrong with you? I'm like, I got a guitar now.
Oh my god, you're killing me now. My first ear piercing came from 3 of those girls that had to hold me down in that damn chair in a kitchen after a show.
I was sitting on a toilet in the bathroom at a party. It was a bass player's girlfriend. It's always a bass player's girlfriend.
Something like that. Oh, these were great. I remember, I got to give a friend a shout out. Lisa DeLeon, if you're listening, you were involved in this because you were pinning me down to the chair. Our friend Gigi and our friend Julie used ice and an apple, if I remember this, and you guys zapped me twice on the right side. On the left side, I still have them both. So
apple?
They put an apple behind there and they stuck it through there with a piercing thing. So, suckers. I remember that, and I'm coming after all 3 of you.
She didn't even use a sewing needle. It was like darning needle. It was like
no, actually, it was funny. I remember I almost puked, but then I told them all that I loved them, and I hugged them because I was so wasted. It was hilarious.
Well, I had my girlfriend at school, the girlfriend that was like Debbie Gibson, had big hair and just wore like, I don't know, preppy stuff. Mm-hmm. And then I had the middle chick girlfriend that she didn't know about. That was the one that was like, you look really hot with an earring.
Well, that made the other one happy. Yeah.
I shouldn't have said that now. Well, you know what?
Oh,
she's
no,
that's
the funny part. What's she going to do?
Better.
I don't know. When she may just hear this and rage, that son of a...
Yeah, the good girlfriend, well, not good. Well, the goody two-shoe girlfriend was Ginger, and the other one's name was...
We're just name dropping everybody. This is a great interview, guys. We're like way out of there today. It's just wonderful. I love these kind of things.
I think her name was Tina.
Well, shit, if it ain't, you're going to know now.
I think it was Tina. But yeah, she was just like, you look really hot with it. So they did that, and they had to post, and it just a regular post that one of them took out of their ears and put on there.
Stabbed you right in the face.
And put in it, and she's like, that doesn't look right because it's just a metal post. So they rummaged around in the garage and found a fish hook and put a fish hook on.
Wow.
No, the fish hook went through the eye of the fish hook went the
okay. Oh, okay. I got it. Oh, I thought they hooked you with a hook.
Oh, no. I was not drunk enough to think.
I was going to say that looks really good for that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like that was.
Oh man.
Actually, that was after I got back from Mexico. So it was more than a couple weeks after. It was like mid-July that summer, and Slash was like, I think. I don't think the video for Welcome to the Jungle was in rotation yet, but Sweet Child of Mine was.
Okay.
And she was like, yeah, you could be like Slash. So I started growing my hair a little long. I didn't have long like Slash. It was just like a little mullet kind of thing.
Oh, man. 80s. So you went total dork on it instead of total Slash. So that's just what happened.
Well, sort of. It was not like... It wasn't like... It wasn't achy breaky heart.
I know.
I let it grow long in the front, too, and just pushed it all back. So it wasn't quite mullet, like, short hair in the front.
That crazy 80s look that most of us had.
I was... By college, though, it was pretty cool. And then when I moved out of the house for college, then I just let it go real long. I had bangs were down to here.
Oh, man.
I had 2 ponytails to hold it back.
You gotta see him now. All right, let's get to another song here.
Cue ball, motherfucker. Now.
Yeah, there you go. Cue. Yeah, I'm sharpening or I'm queuing up my stick right now. We're gonna pop him into the corner pocket here. No, actually, it's different. You gotta see him. You'll see him after this. All right, Dedicatory.
That actually is dedication to my
Okay, I can see it now. If I put my glasses on, I can see what I'm doing today.
It was dedicated to my grandparents. My grandfather died in 2006.
Okay.
Like I told you, my grandmother died a month before the Cubs won the World Series.
Oh, that's right.
And almost to the day. I think it was to the day for Game 7. And then my grandfather was cremated. She had him in her room. They were going to have their ashes interred together.
Okay.
And so we did that. We went back to Illinois the following spring. She cremated her, and then we went to Illinois and we interred their ashes together in this nice little cemetery out in the country. It's like way outside of Chicago. It's like out past Plato Center.
Gotcha.
Lily Lake is way out there.
Boonies.
Yeah, well, they don't seem to think
they don't think it's from where we're from. Yes, I understand.
Well, not where I'm from, but I mean,
you're from that end coming up.
Yeah.
From where I'm from, that's the boonies now.
Yeah, I'm from that end to Chicago and then back out and all the way out to Arizona. But I got the idea for it because I was like, it begins kind of melancholy, kind of quiet, because that's how I felt. And then after the service, towards the end of it, my cousin's twin daughters, they were like 2 at the time, started running around and playing and climbing up on the headstones and jumping off of them and stuff like that. And some people think that's disrespectful, but I was thinking my grandfather would be fine with that. He's like, yeah, don't let the little girls be sad. Just let them play.
Yeah.
Because he was like that.
Sure,
he was like,
let them celebrate.
all right, they sat through some of it as quiet as they could be, but now they just want to run around and play, and they're 2.
Yeah,
so
they don't
2
understand,
and a half.
sure.
So the song kind of picks up from melancholy to a little more just like I'm going off in a happy
The little
way.
free spirit of the
Yeah, it's like what Satriani called Surf for the Alien. He goes, I want to make an album of smiling metal.
Yeah.
So it's not really metal, but I mean, it's more of a smiling kind of tone, I hope.
Well, let's check it out. Say it again correctly so I don't screw it up. Dedicatory?
Dedicatory.
See, I did it again. Dedicatory. Here we go. This is from Anthony Labugan. I got that right.
I'm just teasing
my
name
you.
Today.
I'm having fun with you. Dedicatory. I got it that time. Dedicatory. From the boo. That's just what I'm calling him now. Man, thanks so much for being on the show today, bro. I really appreciate you coming out here. We had such a fun talk. We got to talk about so many things. I got to ask you one thing before we're done. Tell me, you have a lot of good insights on a lot of things here. What are some of your struggles with your music or through your musical journey? Give me a couple quick ones. Some of the harder struggles or challenges you've had to face.
Throughout the years, like I was explaining to you before, when I first started playing, I didn't just aim for, I want to be the next Hendrix or next Satriani.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn blues first, and then we'll see what happens. And then I wanted to learn some rock first, and then go on jazz, and then I heard, like, Buckethead and Sean Lane especially was a game changer, and one big influence, period, is Sonny Sharrock. The late great Sonny Sharrock, and the Soundmeister jazz guy. I was just like, and
so where was the struggle?
The struggle is
between that one or this one.
The struggle is I'm getting to the point where I'm good enough to not just ape somebody, because that's what you do first. Is you're trying to I'm going to learn some Hendrix stuff, and then I'll learn how to play a Hendrix style, and then try to incorporate it into my own style. Yeah. But then you get to a point, or I got to the point where I'm like, I took that exit, at Coltrane and my personal heroes musically took that exit, and I was just like, where the hell do I go now? What's the secret once you're here? Yeah, where do you go? What do you play and stuff like that? And trying to find how to give myself a framework and also play free of a framework at the same time. Enough of a framework where I'm not aimlessly just noodling around and I'm aimed somewhere, but I'm got enough freedom where it can go anywhere I want it to. That's a tough balance. And
sure.
Sometimes when you're out there on that edge, your reach exceeds your grasp a lot of times. That's how you grow.
Sure.
Anyway, musically, but when you're out there where there's you gotta find your own rules. Yeah, that's and there are times where the big struggle is am I doing actually working? Am I getting too full of myself and I just think it works because I've been playing for so long? Because I've been playing for 30 years, and I'm like, no problem. And then you get kind of cocky, and then you're like, I have no fucking idea where I am at.
Yeah, there you go.
And I've done that during the show. I'm like, and I'm playing, and all of a sudden, I hit a note.
That comes to you right on stage, and you're thinking, I'm not worthy.
I hit a note, and I'm like, I have no idea what the next note's going to be. And I look out in the audience, and they're all looking at me, and I'm like, we don't fucking know what the next note is.
Yeah, so
if you don't know, why should we know? And I'm like...
So one of your biggest struggles is you yourself, just trying to being that...
Trying to be prepared.
Trying to figure out where you're going to go next, what you're going to come up with next, how are you going to fill that void.
The big struggle is don't let the ego get in the way. I mean,
absolutely. There's no room for ego.
You have to admit, you get to a point where it's I know what I'm doing. That's true. You need to have that kind of assuredness.
Absolutely. But once you get to be that good, if you start harnessing it, that's all I have, your ego's going to explode.
Yeah.
If you start getting to, I'm that good, I should be sharing this with others. I should be... doing something to benefit for everybody and myself, then that's a different story. Starve the ego, feed the soul.
Yeah, my pet peeve, and this kind of goes with the struggle, is my pet peeve is people will say, hard work will trump talent every time. I'm like, no, it won't. It may trump talent sometimes if the guy's just relying on talent, but talent means he can do something that ordinary people can't do. So if you're just ordinary, no matter how hard you work, he's always going to be able to pull something out that you can't do.
Sure.
But you may be much more consistent than him. Big struggle is, I know I can do it. Yeah, but I still got to put in the work, or else I'm going to be like...
Yeah.
And the struggle is to recognize what is work.
Sure.
You think you're doing the work, and you're not. You're just...
motions.
Jacking off on the guitar, really. You're just noodling, and it's not accomplishing anything you think it is because you're putting in some time. Don't delude yourself. That's the bad thing, is self-delusion at a certain point where you're capable. So you think everything you do is... It's like... I'm not going to say who said this, but somebody said, if I do... A president said this, if I do it, it's presidential. I'm like, no, it's just you doing some dumb shit. You know?
There you go.
Presidential means you're trying to act like a president.
Right.
The big struggle when you get to a certain point is that you don't want to say everything I do is musical because I'm a musician. I'm like, well, you have to, no matter how long you play, you still got to earn that musician.
Sure, of course.
Because if you don't keep your chops up and you think you are, I'm like, if I do it's musical.
You're only as good as your last show, as your last song,
last practice,
your last practice, your
last note,
anything. Absolutely,
your last rest.
It.
You know?
I don't care how great the one was before that. The last one may have sucked. That's as good as you are.
And
you have to keep it up. Yeah.
And
fame has a price, and the rent's due every day. And if you don't stay on your chops, you're not going to get it. And fame is an illusion anyway. But what I'm getting at is, if you don't work at your skill, at your talent, it's going to go away. And if you don't put it out there and do it, you're never going to.
And that goes for everything. That goes for not just being able to play, but for writing too.
Everything.
There's some times where I've written a bunch of stuff and I throw it away because it sounds exactly like something I already just wrote. I'm just stuck in a rut because I just haven't. I got a little lazy.
Sure.
I'm like,
and we all
I can
do
put
that.
a song together, no problem. That's another song, you know. And I'm like, oh no.
Let me ask you one more question here, quickly, because we're running out of time.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Don't be sorry at all. What are some do's and don'ts, in your opinion, that you can say to some of the upcoming guitar players, musicians, whoever? Quickly though, what advice can you give the upcoming generation of musicians?
Don't discount somebody that's different than you. Like the guys who want to just learn by ear and think that theory is useless or anything, don't discount it. But if you're a theory guy, you're the guy who takes the lessons and you know all the scales and stuff, don't discount ear. Don't discount feeling. Because actually, to tell you the truth, if you want to be successful, you need it all.
Yes.
Now, in varying amounts. You don't always need to be able to read. You don't need to sight read.
I always say this.
Paganini's,
right.
stuff like Steve Vai. He says he can do that. That's fine, but you don't need to do that to be good.
No.
It's like Pat Metheny once said. It was on Night Music. He had a thing where they were doing a skit where he's asking the 8-ball question.
Yes, I remember
and he
that
goes,
years ago.
If I learned every solo ever played backwards will make me a better musician, and he shakes up the 8-ball and says, the answer is decidedly not. Because it's true. So doing all that stuff doesn't necessarily make you better if you don't have the feeling, if you don't have the intuition.
The imagination.
The
drive, the heart, the vision.
But you do need theory. You don't need all the theory all the time. Depending on what you want to play.
Basics.
Depending on what you want to play. But at least the basics to help you unlock your imagination. It's like John McLaughlin said. He learned all these different chords because it helped unlock the neck.
Yeah.
So sometimes learning the theory, depending on the stuff you want to play. I mean, if you do want to be the guy to play Paganini's,
let's make it really simple.
You do need to know how to think.
Let's put it this way: you can be a musician whether you can read music or not.
Yeah.
If you can do both, that's going to give you a little bit of oomph. But if you have a stylish imagination and a dream, and you have the drive to just do it and learn it yourself, that works too. So they come out of everywhere. When you put all that together, then you have something just even more to offer. And
it gives you more.
But it's not. What am I calling it? It's not. You don't have to do that. It's not like.
And what I mean by
just play and be happy and let it come from the heart.
What I mean by theory too is you don't have to know that stuff by rote either. It's just that you need to pay attention when you play on the guitar.
Yeah. Just to have a small understanding.
If you just realize that this scale, you don't need to know the notes, but you realize if you play this over these chords, it sounds good. But if you play this over those chords, it sounds even better. And you modulate between the two. You move from one to the other just to give it a little oomph. That's knowing theory, even though you don't know any book stuff. That's what I mean by theory. You need to know how everything fits together. And if you practice enough or you know how it fits together, then when you're on that highway, you can take any exit you want. The one I was telling you about.
Well said. Very well said.
And if you just want to stay on the highway and just play like balls to the wall rock, then that's fine too. It depends on what you want to know. It depends on what you want to play. But I was just telling him, don't discount somebody just because. I play by ear. Oh, well then he's nothing. That doesn't mean anything. Hendrix played by ear.
Right.
And Wes Montgomery played by ear. Don't ever say they're nothing.
No, that's what I say all the time.
And the people I play by ear, they play by rote. They're not any good. I'm like, you know who played by rote? Geddy Lee. Now, some people not so crazy about Rush because they didn't improvise a lot, but that doesn't mean that they weren't bad. Geddy Lee
dude, they were.
That's a bad motherfucker, man. So, you know, I mean, you can't just discount somebody just because they're doing something different than what you want to do. I think a lot of people, especially beginners, feel like because they're beginners, they're a little insecure about what they're doing. They feel like if somebody does things different than them, it's like they're disparaging them. They're saying you don't really count because you just play by ear. And then people get kind of snooty. I'm like, well, you read me. You don't need theory. I'm like, actually, you need both. It's just that it's the extension of what it is.
The conversation and the debate could go on for hours. The bottom line is just play.
Yeah.
Just play.
And like I said, even if you play by ear, that doesn't mean that you don't actually use theory. You just
that's what we're saying.
You don't think of it as theory because it's not book theory, but you learned it anyway.
There's still some in there.
Yeah.
Well, Anthony, we have to definitely do this again very soon because you have tons of stuff to talk about here, and we have to hear more from you. And I can't wait to hear the new stuff. Okay. You guys come check us out. I'll be there too, but come check out Anthony. He's gonna be playing. He's gonna be playing a lot. He's gonna be playing. You're gonna check him in between almost every set on the 24th of August at Gypsy's Roadhouse.
I'll be there all night.
Absolutely. It's going to be wonderful. And that's for the Richard Ellis benefit concert. So you guys come and see us. Show starts at 8. 24th of August, Gypsy's Roadhouse. And thank you, Scott Rowe, for getting us in there. Anthony, I can't thank you enough for being here. Your insights have been wonderful. Your conversation has been better. You want to take us out of here?
Okay. Hey, this is Anthony Boog, Muck Muck, or Iguana Laboogan. Take your pick. And you are listening to James C. Starke Radio. All
right, you guys, thank you so much for listening. We've had a great time today. Make sure you tune in next time. Hit me up, Jim Starke at yahoo.com. That's Stark with an E. Don't leave out that E. You make me feel naked. Or give me a call, 623-910-0265. Be part of the show. Thank you, guys. We are out.
My morning routine is dialed in. Only choosing which flavor of McCafe iced coffee trips me up. A medium McCafe iced coffee is now just $1.69 at McDonald's. Rich coffee, iced to perfection, and flavored with a splash of French vanilla or buttery caramel. I can't decide. Either way, I get to make breakfast cooler with a medium McCafe iced coffee for just $1.69 at McDonald's. There's nothing routine about it. McDonald's, your morning starts here. Prices and participation may vary.
And now, a thought from Geico Motorcycle.
It took 15 minutes to take a spirit animal quiz online.
Please be the cheetah. Please be the cheetah.
And learn your animal isn't the cheetah, but the far less appealing blobfish.
Oh, come on.
To add insult to injury, you could have used those 15 blobfish minutes to switch your motorcycle insurance to Geico.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on motorcycle insurance.